Gonna make the profiles boom, 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 boom. What it is, I'm gonna tell you exactly what it is right here on Profiles. What it is real talk in real life by a real one wearing real Lakers hats because it's a real team, even though we really didn't make the playoffs. And what I'm talking about also is it ain't no added preservatives. That's what it ain't, man. It ain't no bullshit. I ain't gonna feed you no fake shit. I'm gonna give it to you as real and as correct as I possibly can. Menudo in a direct fashion. It's what I does because I got time today. Now trip out. As you can tell by that thumbnail, Asian Norteños. Don't get it mixed up with that thumbnail thinking the Asian boys and the TRGs. I use them because I have ran into several Asian boys and TRGs, and some of them rocked with us in a major fashion. Sasuke, they had our back. Now, usually I get into profiles, and I wanted to profile Asian Norteños because there are some. People like to sleep on the Asian population, the Asian community, and think that they're not with the business or the type of business that they're with doesn't concern the raza or, the sprinkling the whites or the Africanos but you know what? Hey, it concerns real life gangster shit, man. These vatos will hit you on target practice, right? They're different. Menudo, they're different, right? In a direct fashion, I wanted to say I had the privilege and the honor of rocking besides a lot of righteous ass Asians from the Asian community, from the Asian gangs. Vatos from Viet Boys, man. Asian boys, as you can see by the thumbnail. TRG, China Rascal Gang. OT, True Blue. Vatos from MOD. What else? Fucking Oriental Ruthless Boys. You know what I mean? So many different fucking gangs. I don't want to leave any out. El Camino Boys. The Horny Boys out of, where were they at? Out of fucking Vegas. Sasuke, I ran into Vatos from the Modesto Hit Squad. Vatos from Mongolian Boy Society, MBS out of Fresno. Vatos out of Visalia, the OT that was with it. Just a lot of different individuals, but I will say this, man, they always held their own when I was with them in the California Youth Authority, as well as the penitentiary prison on the Yardas. They rocked with the others, man, and they were doing other shit. You know what I mean? They were with the business. I always got to give them the respect. But I wanted to take it back to the CYA days and when I first ran into Asian Norteños. Now, I don't know, people from up north don't really know the wigglization from down south, but I'm going to tell you, man, there's been a war that happened for several decades. And it was between the tiny rascal gangsters, the TRGs, and the Longueros, the Longos. You know what I mean? North side, east side Longo, west side Longo. Basically the South Siders in the city of Long Beach Harbor area. And the TRGs, man, they had a war. Now, to what degree of war? It was a very fucking high degree, like 100 degrees, right? It was really going down in that city, and it was very well known. It was to the point where actually the TRGs actually got a green light put on them because they made several moves that they shouldn't have made, or that they should. Who said they couldn't, right? They made them, and you have to reap what you sow. There's repercussions for every action, and they were willing to go the distance and do whatever they had to do. Anyway, so the wiggle was real. The war was real. Now, that shit didn't touch up north till later on when the Norteños and Visalia and Oriental troops, and then you had the TRGs with the Fresno Bulldogs, and everybody started to beat Sasuke because that's what gangbanging is. It's me against you. I'm better. You're better. Sasuke, we're all better. Ain't no one better, right? It is what it is. But everyone feels that way. Barrios, turfs, you represent. You're about your cause. That's understandable. But where the Asian Norteños come into play is when I was in the California Youth Authority, I was down south in Fred Cinelles, and every time any Asian from TRG would come on, any compa was on, or even in that fucking place, period, they were getting rushed, Holmes. They were getting hands put on them. The Longo boys were deep, man. There was a lot of vatos from Longo, from the west side. I remember Tiny from the west, and several other individuals from Longo, and they had all-point bulletins. Sasuke, it was fucking going down. In fact, that was probably one of the most treacherous and dangerous fighting that I ever seen as far as two different adversaries. I mean, it was on super sight. So I remember the 18 and the Playboys, they'd get at each other, you know what I mean? But they'd take it behind the handball court professional and do their thing. But these two groups, man, it was on fucking sight. I seen where TRGs came in with big old crushers and did their thing. And I seen where the Longos just, fucking what you going through? They beat them to every syllable of the alphabet. So it was going down. And as Norteños, we would sit back and watch all this proceed in front of us. So we started to inquire, damn, why do they get at these Asians like this, or this particular group? You know what I mean? Because there was other Asians there from MOD, Sasuke, they weren't having no problems. They were like, make me say it again, girl. They were over there just bumping their oldies, kicking back. But the TRGs were catching the blues, man, and that's a fact. And then, of course, the story got told to us by a couple of authors from down south. Hey, this is why. This is the reasoning behind it. Sasuke, they hate each other. There's a fucking blood feud. They be killing each other on the calles. Sasuke, in here ain't nothing different. Orale. So what happened was we started taking a liking to the TRG just because they had a common enemy. Okay? And the TRG started to function with us. They started to literally function with us, man, and we backed a couple of their plays a few different times. So I was scared. It got us in a big old wreck. But hey, you know what? They were good gente, man, that didn't have no one. Imagine being from a fucking water and it's all point bulletin on you. And every time you get there, vatos are taking. You don't even got a chance to fucking eat a sopita. So that's getting me crush one time. Let's get, you already know what it is, man. A little sopita. And then let's go to the oil. The box, here we come. But they never even got that chance. So, of course, there was a vato named Little Man from TRG Long Beach. And I remember he had a big old TRG right here. He had rascals on his stomach. And funny thing is, he started kicking it with the Norteno so much, he ended up becoming a tiny rascal Norteno. That's a fact, right? I'm telling you the truth. The vato actually went up to Preston. I was in Preston with them, and he was still rocking, man. They called him Little Man. He was from Tiny Rascal Gang Norteños. He had a big old 1 and a 4 right here, TRG Simon. And I'm not going to say there was a lot of them that did that. And he wasn't flipping and flopping, but he was like basically kind of like a CX Xavier. He just had that much love for the gente, and we backed his play that much that he decided that if for no other reason, man, he was going to rock it in a Norteño fashion. And that's a fact. Now, I have ran into several Asian Norteños, right? And I've kicked it with solid Asians, like the Asian boys, man. Good fucking gente right there. Them vatos are slipping the clipping and getting to dipping. You know what I mean? They ain't playing. And I got a lot of respect for them. But I did run into a vato. Also, the same thing. He was an Asian boy, and he was in Carl Holton with us, and he was on Tioga. And when he was on Tioga, he used to kick back right there. So I was going in that fucking vato from American Me. This is your yard too, Holmes, right? He was kicking it with the homeboys, man. And this vato actually got a huelga bird tattooed right on his stomach. That's why I put that huelga bird where the vato Asian boy. Sasuke, something similar. Didn't have the Asian boy and shit, though. I'm just hide-siding with the thumbnail. That's called clickbait, right? Anyway, the vato fucking put a huelga bird on him. And I remember, and I said, what, is he a homeboy or what to degree? You know what I mean? I can't, the wind's blowing, pero I don't understand. And they said, Charlie, but he's got that much love for the homeboys. He put a huelga bird on him to show that he was fucking, he had that Norteño love. It was a trip. I know people are like, what? Doesn't sound right, right? But it wasn't wrong and it wasn't right. It was what it was. It happened. Okay, it happened. And I remember he was a good ass dude from ABZ, man, Asian boys. And he was representing out of Long Beach as well, man, doing his thing. These vatos out of Long Beach, they're gangsters, bro. Gang members. Anyways, my history with Asian Norteños goes back further than that, though. I get out of CYA Sasuke, there's a homeboy out there in the calles. Wiggling, right? This is my boy. And his name is Little Man. Why are they all named Little Man? Sasuke, I can't call it like I call it because they're all little. His name was Little Man from NFL Gang, man. Mazda Rasasi, that's my boy, right? He was of a Cambodian flavor, man. This was my boy one time for his mind. His brother, of course, was an Asian gang member from the barrio or from the hood, Horny Boys. Where are your antennas when they named this gang, right? But that was the name of the gang out of Las Vegas. He was doing his thing. But this vato, man, was a homeboy through and through. Ever since we were young kids, man. He knew me from way back when we were fucking in Pampers and motherfucking diaper, you know, all that. And he was still rocking. To this day, that vato's still rocking. He's still in the northern fashion. There was several Norteños I met of Asian descent. You got to understand, in my barrio in Merced on the west, there's a big, heavy presence of the Hmong community, man. Shout out to my Hmongs. You know what I mean? They taught me 3 words. Macao, Mode, Mopi. If you're Asian, you know what I just said. Bang, bang. I know what I said too, right? They taught me them 3 words in Sasuke, and I ran with them. But I had a lot of respect for the Hmong community just based on, they were all around me. So I couldn't shake them. Couldn't shake them like shaking bacon, a pork chop. They were there. And a lot of them, of course, identified with the group MOD. Menace of Destruction. At that time, it was Masters of Destruction, the 301, 8-ball shit, whatever it was, man. A lot of respect for the MOD. They was out there wiggling against the True Blues and the Oriental troops at that time in the O-Lokes, Oriental Lokes. There was a lot of beef going on. That was their business, though. We stood the fuck out of it because all we had was 380s and Tech 9s, and they had 50 cals. They had different type of shit, and we didn't want to be involved in that business. But at the same time, we always got along with the Asians in Merced. That's a fact. And there were several Asian Norteños, man, that used to rock with the homeboys. You know, the homeboy Big Worm. A couple other ones. Worm used to wiggle, right? A lot of homeboys, and that was just because we grew up together and you're a product of your environment. Just because you're a certain ethnicity, not race, there's only one, human, but just because you're a certain ethnicity doesn't mean you automatically have to side with just that group. So I'm Mexicano, I'm on Norteno, period. Charlie Holmes. I could have went over there in an Asian Crip fashion, like stick whoop, and been a blood and on Paru. I could have did what I wanted to do. But I chose to go my route that I went, at the end of the day. But there was a lot of Asians that did fuck with the homeboys and actually became homeboys. And there are Asian Norteños. And this ain't just a tale of Merced, man. There's several that I've met from different cities. I met several Asian Norteños from Frisco, man. The homeboy Lil Ty, he was a motherfucker with it from the Mission. I met the homeboys, man, from Santa Rosa, Asian homeboy. I met a lot of Asian. I met a one, Sarsky, yes I did. I don't forgot about him till right this second. I met a homeboy from EPA who was Asian, who was with the activities. You know what I'm saying, man? I just met a lot of people. So that's what I'm talking about when I say there are Asian Norteños, and they're not to be slept on. They're to be respected, and they're treated just like the same, like gente, like Mexicanos, like Chicanos, like Latinos, like anyone else. They're not looked at differently, bro. These vatos, and you know what was a trip? Okay, when you say, look, all right, trip out on this. They're an Africano. I got an Africano homeboy from my hood, and he acts like a fucking chicon, man. Right? So because he can talk Spanish better than me. So don't you watch like the don't. But Asians never did that, bro. They were like, what's that, cat? Like, but you're a homeboy. So I know. You know what I mean? They never switched it up. They never acted like something they weren't. They never tried to play the role. The ones that I ran into, they were strictly Asian, but identified with the Norteño cause. It was a trip, man. And that's one thing about the Norteño cause at that time, man, is the floodgates were open for everyone as long as you were deemed worthy of the cause, man. And you were a true believer, so it didn't matter what you looked like, how you looked, so please brush your teeth, though. You know what I mean? Because the breath right there will knock me out going burpees. We're doing burpees and you have, you know what I mean? I'm going to be like, whoa, down. I'm going to try. Can I knock these out faster? Because I'm trying to get away from this fucking dragon. So I get puff. Anyways, you got to understand that the Asian Norteños were with the business. And like I said, the ones that did it out of necessity, when I was in CYA because of a TRG fashion, and there were several of them, bro. I heard of 3 that actually did and identified and clicked up with the homeboys just because the homeboys were getting busy with them and showing them love. But the one that I always have forever respect for was the Vato Little Man from TRG from Long Beach, man. He was with it. Now, there was a few from Fresno, too, and we used to fucking click up with them. All right, when I was in Preston, there was about 4 Vatos from TRG. There was the homeboy Little Man, but he was a homeboy. So he was a TRG. It was, I don't know. I can't call it like, call it what you want, right? He was a TRG, but Sasuke, he didn't kick it with the TRGs. He kicked it with the homeboys. He was a Norteño first and foremost, then Barrio second. Just the way it was, right? That's the way it was gonna be. Sasuke, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. You know what I mean? Take his name off, right? So that's how it was. Now, of course, there were a few other TRGs, and they had love for him. It was all good. Same thing, but they were from Fresno. I remember he was the only one from Long Beach. They were from the city of Fresno. In fact, Spence on la tira. Yeah, they were. Strike that, reverse it, right? They were. You know what I mean? On we go. They were from Fresno, and they had no love for the perros, the Fresno Bulldogs, right? And so they used to be going at it, man. It was kind of like similar to the Long Beach, the Longos and the TRGs, but just a little different, whereas Bulldogs weren't like fucking just rushing them on sight. But there was a beef there, right? And because at that time, the Bulldogs had split from us and we were beefing with them. So I was good. Hey, why can't we be friends? Can we be friends? Let's be friends. The remix, right? Bam, we were friends and we were smashing, dipping, and dashing with a whole lot of energy together and handling our business, man. And I'll forever be grateful because I remember one time some Pedro had a motherfucking sock with the lock in it and he was swinging. I was like, no. And that Asian threw up his arm like this. Sasuke con un dragon all tatted. Bam, 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 and it wrapped around his arm, and we proceeded to beat that motherfucker to living death. I just made that shit up. Bang, bang. But it was real talk. We fucked that motherfucker up. Something vicious like, right? So let's get con un dragon and un huelga bird. You had the best of both worlds. We were trying to burn his house down. So I have a lot of love for Asian Norteños, and they're slept on. Just like there's Asian Southsiders. Don't get the game twisted, man. I ran into one in Nellis. This vato had creases from his fucking toenails up to his chin bone. The creases just kept going. I remember he was a big old Asian dude too. I forget where he was from, but at the same time, he used to be me mugging everyone. Never said one word, never even heard him talk to this day, but he used to just be looking like Tong, not Tong Po, was that dude? Chung Lee from Bloodsport. Sasuke? You know what I mean? I was about to hit him in the stomach. He was going to do this. I wasn't playing, man. I remember back in them days. But anyways, That's neither here nor there. None of that counts. I was a youngster. You know, I ran into a lot of people from everywhere, a lot of different personalities, a lot of different real ones, a lot of different fake ones. That's what it is. Anyway, so when it comes to the Asian Norteño movement, there are some. Now, for the most part, you're going to see just Asian gangs all throughout Northern and Southern California. And I respect them to the fullest, man. I have so much respect for the Asians. Even a lot more respect than some of the homeboys that I had from different barrios, you know what I mean, throughout Northern California, just because of the way the Asians wiggled. And maybe me growing up with them, I was biased about the Sasuke because they were down. They were down, man. And I've told certain situations on my other channel, Gunners Collective, where we've actually, you know, we almost got into some pleito with some Asians, man. And, you know, just the type of morals that they have and the respect, I was able to facilitate some type of agreement, man, where they didn't fuck the homeboy up and everything was good because they saw they had something that goes like this in the back of their truck. And I didn't want that smoke. Definitely didn't want that. Nobody wanted that. Anyways, with that being said, don't sleep on the movements out there. Don't assume someone's from somewhere and they're not about it just because they're fucking short or the way they look or Sasuke, you don't understand them. Hey, every motherfucking Califas and throughout the United States, the world, Vato got a little bit of thug in them, right? I guarantee it, you know, and I will say right here, coming from Gunner first and foremost, man, respects to my Asian brothers, be it Mien, be it Hmong, Vietnamese, Cambodian, even the Panoys. I don't know how they slide into that or to what degree of them sliding. They're like, I don't know what they are. So I got love for them, right? Every type of Asian partner, man, I have ran into some real ones, like I said, man, and I got nothing but love from them. They never did nothing to me, so I ain't going to do nothing bad to them. And we're going to keep it like that, pushing. But the Norteños, yeah, they were real. The Asian Norteños were a factor, man. They were a factor, not an actor. They did their thing for plenty of years. Like I said, there's still a homeboy out of the city of Merced who still rocks in the motherfucking in Asian fashion. And it just is what it is, man. I remember in the words of my boy Toto, man, my Vietnamese partner, no more shopping sprees. No more late night creeps. No more. That was my boy right there. I'll never forget. It is what it is. Anyways, with this being said, man, yes, don't sleep on it, man. There are Asian Norteños and Asian Southsiders as well. And they're to be respected. And to all the other Asian gang members, the gun sense is, you already know what it is. M.O.D. My motherfucking boy Booger was with the shit in Merced. Why? Motherfuckers couldn't fuck with him either. He had these right here. Viciously. Vato used to try to run up on him. That's gay. Why they call you Booger? Smoke goes out of their nose. That's why. Bang, bang. In that fashion. Anyways, with that being said, I hope that you move fast with a purpose. I hope that you get every single thing that you want coming to you. Remember, in life, it's all about getting up. Yep, Simon. Roll your fucking mattress up. Do whatever it takes. If you're all institutionalized. And go out there and get something and bring it home for your familia, man. You will be respected if you're judged on the content of your character as a man. And doing that, it's the right thing. You know, if you're out there doing the bad thing, you'll be judged by that too. So it is what it is. Anyways, if you like these, this content, these videos that I'm putting out lately, please hit that like and subscribe one time for your mind. Your boy highly appreciate it. There's a fucking bell right there. Just touch it. It'll notify you because I drop something every day on Gunners profiles as well as Gunners Collective. Make sure you tap into both because it goes bang, bang, be the boop, 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 boop. And you know what it is. If you don't like me, if you think I'm a fucking dummy, if you think I'm a fucking J-Cat, if you just don't like me because you want to get me, that's gay. The wind's blowing. Hit that thumbs down. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to struggle, strive. Thank you for the view. And you know what it is? This is the gun, man. I'm going to continue to progress. Shout out to my Asian partners. You know what it is, man. MTRGs are with the business. Or at least they used to be. The Asian boys, that's a different level. So I was getting about those are real. Straight up.